Louis Vuitton is one of the most prestigious luxury brands in the world, known for its timeless designs, high-quality craftsmanship, and exclusivity. However, with its massive popularity comes a major issue: counterfeits. Fake Louis Vuitton products flood online marketplaces, second-hand stores, and even some unauthorized retail shops, making it difficult for consumers to distinguish between real and fake. Some counterfeits are poorly made and easy to spot, while others are so convincing that even seasoned buyers can be fooled. In this guide, we will break down the most effective ways to identify a fake Louis Vuitton, covering every detail from the price and materials to the stitching, logos, and packaging. By the end of this, you'll be able to confidently separate real Louis Vuitton from counterfeit copies and avoid wasting your money on fakes. The price? It is too good to be true. It probably is. One of the first indicators that a Louis Vuitton product may be fake is its price. Louis Vuitton is a luxury brand that never offers discounts or sales, meaning its products retain their high value. If you come across a brand new Louis Vuitton bag being sold for a fraction of its retail price, it's almost certainly fake. Even second-hand LV bags hold their value well, and reputable resale sites will never list an authentic bag at an unbelievably low price. Some counterfeit sellers are smart enough to price their fakes just below retail to make them appear real, so price alone isn't always the best indicator. However, if you see a Louis Vuitton Neverfull being sold for $300 or a Speedy bag for $150, you should immediately be suspicious. Always compare the price with official Louis Vuitton stores or reputable resellers to ensure you're not falling for a scam. The material: Louis Vuitton's signature quality. Louis Vuitton is known for its impeccable craftsmanship and high-quality materials, which counterfeit manufacturers struggle to replicate. Authentic LV bags are made from coated canvas, high-quality leather, and premium hardware that feels durable and luxurious. The monogram canvas on a real Louis Vuitton bag has a slightly grainy texture, while many fakes feel either too smooth or too rough. Real Louis Vuitton leather is soft and develops a natural patina over time, whereas counterfeit versions often use synthetic materials that crack and peel. Another easy way to spot a fake is by smelling the bag. Authentic Louis Vuitton bags have a rich, leathery scent, while counterfeits often have a strong chemical or plastic smell due to the cheap materials used in production. If the material feels flimsy, smells off, or doesn't have that high-end quality, it's likely not an authentic LV bag. The stitching: precision is key. One of the most important signs of authenticity in a Louis Vuitton product is the stitching. Louis Vuitton is known for its precise, symmetrical, and evenly spaced stitches that contribute to the bag's durability and aesthetic appeal. A real LV bag will have tight, clean stitches with no loose threads or uneven lines. In contrast, counterfeit versions often have inconsistent stitching, with some areas appearing sloppy or rushed. Pay special attention to high-stressed areas like the handles, zipper lining, and corners, as these are where fakes typically show poor craftsmanship. Additionally, Louis Vuitton follows specific stitching patterns, such as the number of stitches on handle tab being consistent across all authentic bags of the same model. If you notice irregular stitching or double stitching in areas where it shouldn't be, it's a strong indication that the bag is a counterfeit. The logo: subtle details make a difference. The Louis Vuitton monogram is one of the most recognizable symbols in fashion, but counterfeit manufacturers often get small details wrong. One major giveaway of a fake LV bag is misaligned monograms or logos that are cut off at the seams. On an authentic Louis Vuitton bag, the monogram is always symmetrical and evenly spaced, and the LV logo is never slanted or distorted. Additionally, pay attention to the font. Louis Vuitton's lettering is crisp and precise, with no smudging or inconsistencies. The O in Louis Vuitton should be perfectly round, not oval, as seen in many counterfeit versions. Another important detail is the orientation of the LV logo on certain styles. On bags like the Speedy and Keepall, the monogram appears upside down on one side because Louis Vuitton uses a single continuous piece of leather. If you see a bag that should have an upside-down LV but doesn't, it's likely a fake. The date code versus microchip. What's changing? For many years, Louis Vuitton used date codes to indicate when and where a bag was made. These codes followed a specific format and could be found stamped or embossed inside the bag. For example, a date code like VI 1025 meant that the bag was produced in France in the 10th week of 2025. However, as of 2021, Louis Vuitton phased out date codes and replaced them with hidden microchips embedded inside the bags. This means that any newer Louis Vuitton product, 2021 and later, should not have a date code, only a microchip. If a seller is trying to pass off a new LV bag with a date code, it's likely a fake. On the other hand, if you're buying an older bag, pre-2021, and it has no date code at all, that's another red flag. Always check for these details to verify authenticity. The packaging, don't be fooled by the box. Luxury brands like Louis Vuitton put just as much effort into their packaging as they do their products, but counterfeit sellers often try to mimic this in an attempt to make their fakes look legitimate. Authentic Louis Vuitton dust bags are made from soft, high-quality cotton with a perfectly printed LV logo, while fakes tend to use rough, thin fabric with blurry printing. Real Louis Vuitton boxes are sturdy and well-crafted, whereas counterfeit boxes are often flimsy and cheaply made. Another major red flag is the inclusion of extra accessories like plastic wrap tags, fake receipts, or authenticity cards, which Louis Vuitton does not provide with their products. If a seller tries to convince you that the bag is real by showing off elaborate packaging and receipts, be extra cautious. It could be an attempt to distract from the fake product inside. The zippers and hardware, small details matter. Authentic Louis Vuitton hardware is made from high-quality metal, often brass or gold-plated, and it has a solid, weighty feel. Counterfeit bags frequently use cheap, lightweight metal that feels hollow and sometimes even chips over time. One simple test is to run your fingers over the engraving. On a real Louis Vuitton bag, the hardware engravings are clean, deep, and precise, while fake ones often look too thick or faint. Another trick is to tap the hardware. Authentic LV metal makes a distinct clinking sound, whereas fakes often sound dull or plastic-like. The zippers on a real Louis Vuitton bag are smooth and glide effortlessly, while counterfeit zippers tend to get stuck or feel rough when pulled. Small details like these make a huge difference in determining authenticity. Where you buy matters, avoid shady sellers. Even if a Louis Vuitton product looks authentic, where you purchase it from can make all the difference. The safest places to buy a real LV bag are Louis Vuitton boutiques, their official website, and reputable department stores like Neiman Marcus or Saks. Suppose you're buying secondhand, stick to well-known resellers like The RealReal, Fashion File, or Rebag, which authenticate every product they sell. Be extremely cautious when purchasing from online marketplaces like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, or Instagram, as these platforms are filled with counterfeit products. Always ask for detailed photos, verify the seller's history, and, if possible, have the bag authenticated by a professional service before purchasing. Stay smart, buy authentic. Spotting a fake Louis Vuitton product requires close attention to detail, but by checking the price, material, stitching, logo, date codes, packaging, and hardware, you can confidently determine authenticity. Remember, luxury is never cheap, and if someone offers you an LV bag at an unbelievably low price, it's likely too good to be true. Always do your research, purchase from reputable sources, and when in doubt, seek professional authentication. Have you ever encountered a fake Louis Vuitton bag? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more luxury fashion content.